And we are live. Peace to the family. We're gonna just wait for a few people to get in here. Man, I just had a difficult time uh, getting my PC together and getting coordinated with my guests. Live. Peace to the family. We're gonna just wait for a few people to get in here. Man, I just had a difficult time uh, getting my PC together. Is that you, Morph? The background coordinated with my.
I got headphones on.
Peace to the family. Okay, so that must be people to get in here. Man, okay. I just had a difficult time. Yeah, that was me when I was giving you the YouTube link. So
Okay.
wow. Let's just see. So peace to the family. Let's see who's on. Let me see who's out there. If anybody's out there yet, right? It's going to be a powerful show. And guess what? We are going to run this to the ground, right? There's going to be no stopping. We are going to run this to the ground. Hey, Solomonic TV. My brother Joey is in the building. Peace for checking in. We're going to wait for a few more people. Let me just see what's going on. So, Morph,
Yeah.
man, I'm glad to have you, man. We haven't done a show together in a little while, man, and man,
Yeah.
a lot of
I've
things is.
been.
I say what?
Not say yeah. I've been doing a lot of. Uh, we're researchers, so
So you
we've been doing. I've been doing a lot of research on some different matters that we're going to get to.
Yeah, I can't keep up with you, man, and it's just a shame our schedules don't match and stuff like that. And to the new audience, hello, how you doing? My name is Brother Reggie. If you don't know, and my guest is Mr. Morpheus. We pretty much do research on things not talked about, but everybody's talking about it. So what I mean
Right.
by that is people are talking about the Bible, right? But what we find out is that it's the things that the Bible doesn't talk about, right? That's important. And of course, I do largely Nile Valley. That's my kind of will. And Brother Morpheus, his will is, let's say, Islamic studies as one of his wills. But he's certainly very astute on the Bible, and he's very astute on Christianity. And again, uh, Morph, what do you think? People get the arguments all wrong, right?
I think that people most of the times are arguing the wrong arguments. They're
The
they're
wrong.
they're yeah, they're arguing the wrong things. And the thing, see, I'm one of them kind of people that I don't listen to what people so much talk about on certain things, or that that's debatable, that's ambiguous. I kind of look for what they don't talk about. I go after, okay, what's not there, right? Not what's there and what's ambiguous, and but what's not there. That we should expect to see, you know? Like, what should we expect to see that's missing in the conversation? What's
Interesting.
missing? And that's what I like to focus on.
Yeah, so we did a show together on the red herring, things that's
Hmm.
in the Bible, but people didn't see that. People didn't understand that uh, in their prophecies for a new Israel, uh, they need this particular type of cow, and this cow's supposed to be sacrificed, and then to make them pure, and so they can rebuild this temple, right? And that show was a very, very important show because it has a lot of connections to what's happening in modern day. that they in modern day Israel they have built the slaughterhouse, right, for these red calves, and and it, it, underneath this particular temple, this mosque. What's the name of the mosque? Uh,
Aqsa.
Al-Aqsa Mosque is supposed to be the remnants of Solomon's temple, supposedly, or a temple. And in order to build the new temple, right, they're going to have to destroy that mosque, right? And in order to even begin the work, they have to purify themselves. And so then it's almost Armageddon, right? You're destroying a uh, important mosque where I think Muhammad left his footprints there.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. It's supposed to be the masjid that Muhammad traveled to during his Mirage.
Right. So that's what that's on the this flying animal that he
Yeah,
when
yeah, yeah. That's supposed to be on an animal called the Burak,
the
right?
Borak.
Burak, yeah. And Burak is kind of like a donkey, kind of like a horse. So it's a mixture of, it's some type of mutation. But
And it
anyway,
grew. Hey, Immortal Dragon Review, thanks for showing up. We're just waiting for a few more people to comment. If you're in the audience, let me know that you're in the audience. I really can't see who's in the audience, but I can see your chats. And uh, so, the Prophet Muhammad, he
hmm
in his journey, he goes what to he goes to several heavens, right?
hmm
And he and one of he meets Moses
meets Moses, I think, on the fourth heaven.
on the fourth heaven, right? But the reason why we did the show, family, is because this is so important to Islam and the building of this new temple uh, that's supposed to be, bringing forth really um, the unity of Israel, right? What is this famous quote in the Bible where they throw down all their swords and stuff like that? I think it's in
Yeah,
Manual. Huh?
Isaiah. I think it's Isaiah 4:7 or Isaiah 2:7. Yeah.
Okay. And so, in order for all of this to happen, they need Israel to come together with Judah and all of that, and they need this. And so that's one of the things that is in these books, but they don't talk about, but is very relevant today. So
hmm
today, what we are going to do, and I'm going to run this into the god daggone ground, Morph. Like I don't care if it's one show, two show, I don't care if it's three show. And what I am going to give, and what me and Morpheus is going to give to the public is a tool. We're going to give you a tool,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And the tool was
Mm-hmm.
interesting, so they don't say or think that it's a biasness that's coming from us. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to give you the latest research, right? We're going to give you the latest findings and research. Okay, Ray.
Oh no. So okay, so family, what we're trying to say is that you have been deceived. You have been deceived. Hits, what's up? What's up, Hits? Immortal Dragon Review, what's up? Anybody else out there, let me know that you're on, right? I know that y'all watching Diddy stuff. I know that y'all watching some of the other channels. I got you. I got you. But we're gonna give you a tool. All right. So here's the problem. One of the things is what Morpheus and I do is we solve some problems. One of the problems is looking at these, understanding that we got some of these religions on the transatlantic slave trade. Some of these religions, we encountered them in Africa itself. Some of these religions were not in the places that they said that they were supposed to be, meaning there's no Christianity uh, for Africans around the transatlantic slave trade. We get that when we come to the Caribbean and the Americas. So there are no Messianic Hebrews or Christians going across in them boats, just Africans and Africans who with various religions, but one of them happened to be uh, Islam, right? Because you have these great empires, but a lot more of them with traditional beliefs. And then the oppressor, the slave master, uh, they separated us from our names, uh, our religion, our culture, and etc. Um, but a lot of thousands and thousands of shows have been on these channels, and these channels have deceived you. So for the last 2, 3 years, you've heard a lot about the Black Hebrew Israelites, and hearing about the Black Hebrew Israelites, uh, they come across like a lot of these religions that they have the truth, that they are the truth, and their King James Bible is the truth. They come across like that. Well, me and Morpheus, primarily Morpheus, after he has these long late night conversations with me, he comes and he says, Reg, I know who the Most High is. You know who gave me that? La, brother La, right? but so I just blended that into our conversation. So
Yeah,
Morpheus
right.
and brother La found out who the Most High is, right? So we know who the Most High highest is, right? The holiest of holies, the Most High. Morpheus has found out who the Most High is, right? Uh, let's talk about it before I show some data. All right. So,
Hmm.
ladies and gentlemen, applause, clap, right? Sound effects.
And let's talk about the Most High.
The most high. Now, when we tell you who the most high is, I know some of you are going to be thinking about Yahweh. Some of you are going to be thinking about Elohim. Some of you are going to be thinking about El. Some of you are thinking about El Shaddai. Some of you are going to even say Yeshua or Jesus, right? He's the most high now. Well, guess what, family? When they created these stories, they were what, Morpheus?
The Most High.
They were high, family.
They were out of their minds. They was lit. They
Man,
was. Watch this. They was lit. What y'all say today? They was on the ooh wee. They was. They was. They was smoking on the ooh wee. The
right.
ooh wee.
So Morph, I gotta take this quick call, right? So go into where is it? So Morph, go into what are you talking about, right?
What
And
am I
before
talking
he
about?
starts, ladies and gentlemen, I put my Cash App in. Please donate to the show. I'm going to give it to my guest, Mr. Morpheus, right? Uh, Mr. Morpheus, tell
Yeah.
us, give us a little breakdown of what's going on, and I'll be right in.
Well, recently, researchers, archaeology, have been doing some testing on the temples of Urad. I think it's in Tel Aviv, Israel. Uh, I wish I could pull it up. I'm on my phone. Reggie has it. He could pull it up. Anyway, they found in Jewish temples residue of cannabis inside the burners, inside the temple. Now I know what y'all know what cannabis is. Y'all call it weed. Y'all call it trees. Y'all can call it the ooh wee, right? Whatever you want to call it. Nonetheless, hallucinogenic, excuse me, was found inside the temples. Inside the temples in the burners, ancient residue of ooh la 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 la, which suggests that they were constantly burning, according to the experts, that they were burning weed and animal dung constantly for the rituals, and so that the high priest and the people would get uh, high, part of the ceremony. That's why we coined that phrase, the Most High. So now it said, hey, that gives the Most High, the term of Most High, a different meaning now, huh? Because it shows that they were getting high. So I'm saying to myself, so they was on a trip, DMT trip, taking trips. Wow. I said, Reg, maybe that's why they heard God. But maybe that's why they heard voices and all these other supernatural things that they claim to have heard or saw. They was high. They was all getting high. So the thing about it is the research, it's not my research, I didn't discover it, but the experts of archaeologists, right? People found that. This is what they found. They tested it and they said for sure this is what was found. Am I right,
Okay.
Reg?
Oh, you're what right, 100%. So let's see. Let me just warm up to the community. What it is that the early beliefs, right? The early thinking of um it says, I apologize up front. The Force MDs, let me love you, best part of my life. Bless you, brothers. So
Peace,
there,
bro. Peace.
yeah. Christoph Harris, how you doing? Peace. Peace to you. Christoph Heretic. I'm so sorry about that. And Brother Eddie. So what Morpheus has just said, and we I know it's going to take some time and implications, but when they came up with these early beliefs of Yahweh, Asherah, these foundations in this place called Tel Arad, right? Part of their rituals was getting high. So the implications of this is that they were getting high to get closer to God. So their God obviously told them to get high. So in order to talk to the Most High, you had to be high. That's the only way the Most High is going to talk to you, right? Now, uh, because in your sane mind, you couldn't perceive it. So you had to go into altered states.
Yeah,
So,
altered states.
so what does this mean? What does this mean? This means that the plausibility of things factual go out the window. So I want to tell
Mm.
you all, are those 2,000 shows out there on the claims of Black Hebrews and stuff like that? And I'm not talking about the the ones that you call the fake Jews who actually speak the language, right? Who can actually read the Torah and the Tanakh, right? I'm talking about our community. I'm isolating it down to our community. So let me put my disclaimer on because I have to put a disclaimer. Now, family, you have to understand what we are going to talk about, right? Uh, is my share screen is not allowed. Wait, let me see. Select window of screen. Uh, yeah, let's try this. Great. Okay.
There
So,
you go.
okay. So let me put my disclaimer on here because without a disclaimer, I'm in danger. So, first of all of those shows that are out there that you've been watching that you think is important about, oh, you've been giving these people cash apps and you've been donating and you've been supporting and you've been saying, yo, that's powerful bill, that's powerful bill. Take all of that, take 90% of that, and put that in the garbage can. 90%. Because it sits on top of hallucinogens.
DMT trips.
right?
Oh man.
I mean, they really bunged up. I mean, literally, what they were creating to do this stuff was ancient crack. I mean, it was the black goob, the black gob, right?
It,
Now, so let me put my disclaimer up. My brother Born Dog, always supporting. Thank you so much. All right. Uh, Here's my disclaimer. Um, there have been thousands of shows in the black community. I'm only talking about the black convert community. The convert, right? Their favorite hot religion. That's the black Hebrew Israelite community. With this thousands of claims we are aware of. This show that me, Morpheus, and the guests, the other people that will contribute, we're not anti-Semitic. Uh, we're not anti-Semitic. Uh,
Not at all.
yeah, we're not anti-Semitic. We're bringing in research from people who are Semitic, right? But we're attempting to look at mention some of the myths from the vantage point of altered states, meaning these myths were created from priests, right, trying to talk to the Most High because
From
they were
priests,
high.
from priests in an altered state of mind.
Correct. And not only that, that they were in the fumes, the contact was so huge that the whole audiences that were aware they were high. Right now, history has cleaned that up. A lot of history has cleaned that up, but archaeology shows that it's there. It's what Morpheus talked about. Not in the Bible directly, but it's in the Bible, right? But you want to ignore it because you're apologetic. So we're not anti Semitic. It's not our original research, but it has to do with many of the debates and the fights and the arguments that we have on religion. Fundamentally, these converts, their religion was created by people getting high.
And let me add this, if I may. Right? Watch this. Pay attention to this, people. What we're saying is our position from looking at the evidence, right, is that these people were a, in an um alternate states
They
of
were
consciousness.
hallucinating. They was
Yeah, they was
on.
high.
They
They
was
was
high.
high. Now, watch this. So now the apologist argument is no, they actually talk to God. And then we say, okay, so what is your evidence of that? They can't produce that. But they add, now ask me, what is my evidence for what I just said? And then we present, here is the evidence.
The
Here's the
evidence
evidence.
is that you being high, right, created your most high.
Yeah,
That's our evidence.
that's our evidence. And we have the evidence that was found inside the temples, right? And that's the argument and evidence behind this position because we can show, right? We can show through the science what was being burnt there,
Oh,
right? Oh boy, we can
so
show that.
so I'm gonna finish my little disclaimer. So I'm sorry if this presentation upsets some people, but the action is not to be upset, but to rebut it. Unfortunately, many in the so-called Black Hebrew tradition, Black Messianic, right, people who watch these shows, you're basically King James Bible readers. You read it in English only. You're not historians. You don't even know that the books were originally in uh, the Christian books were originally in Greek, right? And uh, the, uh, the Hebrew books, right? Uh, of course, that was in written at a time after Babylon, right? In a different script than the original scribble scrabble that was found in places like Telerad, because they weren't writing full sentences. They were writing on what you call boule stamps, right? And scribble scrabble. It wasn't a scribal school until later, until after the Babylon captivity. So you don't have much of a written record of the stories, but you have a whole lot of oral tradition and myths.
Hmm.
And the problem is that when we ask for it being authentic, you can have your beliefs, you can have your traditions. You have your right to believe, you have the right for your traditions. You just don't have the right to disseminate false information. You can keep your myth. We enjoy those great stories.
Great
Christmas,
stories.
Easter, Christmas, we have the Ten Commandments. Uh, you
I love
know,
that movie.
oh yeah, yeah.
The the theatrics was amazing.
Yeah, then around Easter you have all these Christ crucifixion movies and
Yeah, the greatest story ever told. All
Ben
that. Yeah.
Hur.
Ben
Yeah.
Hur.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. All great, right? Oh man, who doesn't like the Red Sea? Dun 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 dun.
Uh,
And the Red Sea opening up, right? And then they cross over into the wilderness. But Moth, they don't tell you that they're on their way to Saudi Arabia.
no.
They don't they don't tell you, family, right, that there was no El worship in Egypt, in so-called Egypt. They don't tell you that there was no Yahweh worship in Egypt. So Morpheus, who were these people worshiping? Oh, that's for another story. What do you think?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
another.
Yeah. We'll get y'all on part two of that.
But while you're high on your most high, you're gonna miss all of that because you're gonna look at some charismatic people in costumes, right? Who call me the fake Dr. Reggie, as if they got college. Any of the people calling me fake Dr. Reggie, that's fine. I don't have a doctorate, but I got college. I worked 20 years in my field, right? I got a Black Studies award, right? Graduation award, right? Uh, honors award. I got all that. I worked at the Sharnbrook Center for Research in Black Culture. I've been doing uh, cultural research, but nevertheless, you're gonna call me the fake Dr. Reggie, but you haven't written any papers. You're not cited. I can only Google you and find YouTube videos, or maybe feeding, maybe out there feeding some people, right? Maybe that's what you're doing on the street. Keep calling me fake Dr. Reggie, right? I got more education than your mother, your father. I got more education than your children. And then you know what? You know what, Morph? The best example is I want to see how they raise their children and what their children's doing, right?
Mm.
But nevertheless, you have a right to your view of the Bible, but you don't have the right to push these myths without rebut. We're not going to stand down, right? Now, so in the end, keep your traditions, love your faith, right? Love your converted history, but please don't pass that stuff off as scholarship, right? There's a big difference. Now, so here's my beginning of our abstract, right? So let's put this up. Anybody in the audience disagree with me for what I said? We're not anti-Semitic. The research is by uh, scholars who are largely able to study in Israel, who happen to have the ethnicity of being Jewish, whether or not they're religious Jewish or not. They discovered it. So here's our abstract, and Morpheus can add on. Recent
Nah.
archaeological,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep going. I want you to read. Yep.
recent archaeological and scientific discoveries have fundamentally challenged traditional understanding of early Yahweh worship in ancient Israel and Judah. The identification of psychoactive substances, particularly cannabis, in ritual contexts at sites such as Tel Arad, provides compelling evidence that entheogenic experiences, altered states of consciousness induced by psychoactive plants were integral to official cultic practices. Let me say that again.
I was about to say that again.
In ritual, the identification of psychoactive substances,
Stop.
particularly, yep,
Stop. What
yep.
is psychoactive substances, Reg?
We could get the dictionary, but in general, these are substances that give you mind altering states,
Thank you.
particularly cannabis, which we know gives you mind altering states, depending on the strength of the cannabis. But even a simple contact can change your state, right? Now, the problem is provides compelling evidence that entheo, entheogenic experiences, these are experiences related to gods, right? Uh, Divine, getting closer to the divine,
So
getting high.
are you saying that they was hallucinating, Reg? Is that what you're saying?
They was hallucinating, get high to talk to the Most High, right? Now, so altered state of consciousness induced by these psychoactive plants were integral to official cultic practices, meaning you cannot separate the cultic practices from getting high. Now, this paper synthesizes archaeological findings, textual analysis, and expert commentary to argue that the foundational experiences and beliefs of early Yahweh, Jehovah worshippers were shaped and at times generated by deliberate entheo, that's that word theo, gen consumption. These insights call into question the historical reality of early Yahweh accounts as
Ouch.
literal fact. Did you hear that, Marv?
Ouch.
These insights
Ouch.
call into question the historical reality of early Yahweh accounts as literal fact and demand a reevaluation of the origins and nature of Israelite religion.
Ouch.
Almost 3,000 videos that we watch, uh, channels, put them in the government because it's the facts that you propose, not just the culture. I don't care about the culture and the religion, but you push them off as fact, right? You're Adam and Eve. Oh, Morpheus got it on Adam and Eve. Morpheus, what you say? They ain't got XX?
Yeah. When I was talking about Adam and Eve, and I
Yeah.
said, well, Adam is a man, right? So he has XY chromosomes, right? Well, we know through science, men have XY chromosomes and women have two X's, right? So I start and said, well, hold up. So if Adam is a man and he has XY, and then Eve is a female who have XX, so if she got one of those X's from Adam, where did the other X come from?
Yeah. So here's the thing. So I'm even worse than Morpheus, and we're gonna move on for this. But so Adam had he got what is Adam now? He has what? I'm
X
trying to,
and Y.
he has an X and a Y, right?
Right.
Okay. So where did the Y come from? So that means one of his parents had a bent wrist, or one of his parents was female, right? But he was supposed to be made, but he got XY. Now
yeah. Uh-huh.
Eve, she got XX, right?
Yeah. She got two.
So she got two, and I'm thinking the X is the male. So Eve, Eve was parents are both males, right?
Yeah, because we should get the other X from.
Yeah, she's supposed to get it from, yeah. So
Because if he only has one to give, right? You don't add. You would take away. She would listen. If he's got one, she can't have two because where did the other one come from? Right? That's what you're saying, right? Is that where did the other X
yeah,
come from?
right.
Because if he only got one to give, how she end up with two? Right?
How she ended up with two and both males?
And both, yeah.
So Eve, both her parents were males, and
No, no,
Adam,
no, because the X is feminine. The Y is the male, right?
yeah, the Y is supposed to be the male. So
Right.
both of her parents is both of her parents is
Female?
both of them.
That don't make sense.
Oh, we got early lesbian, bisexual. Don't be upset in the Bible about bisexual and trisexual, and don't be that because this whole thing about Eve and Adam is really messed up. But nevertheless, you know how you come to that conclusion, Morpheus?
I know how.
You got high
You got high.
when
You
you
was
said
talking. Look,
you was
you was
high.
talk. You was talking to the Most High.
So now we're gonna go on. So Christoph Heretic, thank you so much. So that's right. Likely mind altered parasites in the waste they are. Now, so now let's just keep on. So all of those myths are problematic because you're substance abuse. Your high priest are high.
That's why they was called High Priest. Yo, Reg. That's what. Yo, actually, they was right on point. The High Priest.
And they were so high. So now we have high priests in our community, and they are still high, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep. So people think that when you hear the term High Priest, they're thinking in terms of measurement of being
correct
high,
that you're
not
high.
realizing, not realizing it's not a measurement. The term high in that is not measurement. It's actually really being high. The high priest.
Okay, so now um, CMC Millen, thank you. And your proof that these psychoactive substances were Philistine rituals or cited in what sources? There is evidence that these substances were linked to the Philistines. The problem with your analysis, CMC Millen, is that the Philistines, they were in, uh, uh, uh,
Cal 9. They wasn't there.
right. So when we're talking about Telerod, right? They're not Philistines. These are early Israelites. Supposed Israelites. These are the pure ones. So you're going to say that the early Israelites borrowed some puff puff from the Philistines in in the early part. We're really talking about 2500. I mean, 2500 BC in Tel Aviv. So how do you fix yourself to say to talk about the Palestinian puff puff? I'm pretty sure that they had a brand. It'd be better that you talk about some other group, right? in the Philistines. Now,
Yeah,
Israel,
yeah,
okay, so Israel bound says, listen at these low-level, degenerate, homo doctrine followers. Um, Israel bound, you talking about Morpheus? Let me check. Listen at these low levels. Listen at, okay.
yeah,
You
yeah. Forget that. Let's look at the research. Let's just talk. Let's just look at the research.
okay? So now, no, I like that more because first I got to check the spelling. We're getting to it. We're getting into it. Okay, Reggie, you have to fix it. Morpheus, you can hear me clear?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me clear now?
Yeah,
Okay, let me change my mic. Okay.
yeah. So let's focus on the research. Okay. So once again, if you disagree, your argument is with the researchers. Your argument is not with us. Your argument is with the researchers. Okay, is with the archaeology, anthropology. That's what your argument would be with. Your argument would not be with me or Reggie. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're presenting. That's what we're presenting to the public. This is what we're showing, right? And these are the references because we're going to show you all the references that any one of y'all can look up. And hopefully, some of y'all who sitting in the chat on your computers or whatever can Google, right? You can Google the subject matter, and you can see all the research papers on it. So,
Okay, can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So let's go on. Because I'm gonna give you the research, and that you're gonna go and you're gonna check it out. So it starts here. This is the aerial view of Arad fortress that stands in what was of Judah. Image credit to Zadig, D, and public domain. So this is the great that the kingdom of Judah, and in this fort is where they got high. I don't understand. Oh shoot, Marv, you see who's on the channel?
Do I say what?
You see who's on the channel?
No.
Let's see where my look at this.
Oh, Minx. Yeah, my Minx, my daughter, my sweet daughter. Hey, baby girl. Mhm.
Now, Mix is a genius when it comes to social media. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, y'all
I'm
watch.
sorry, y'all. I'm not in my office. I'm sitting outside on my back porch, just enjoying the weather, hanging out with y'all. So
Okay, so now I'm back the speaker away from the mic. I'm gonna move away from the mic because I think that's the problem. So, for centuries, the history of Yahweh herself has been reconstructed from biblical text, interpreted as expressions of divine revelation and communal myth. However, the discovery of cannabis and other psychoactive substances in
yeah, yeah, Reg, your voice is going in and out.
don't understand. So Mike, can you read this for me?
Oh my God, I can't even see this. I'm on my phone. Remember, I'm on my phone. Uh, wow.
Okay, so
Okay. Okay, go up a little bit. For, where it says, for centuries, the history of Yahweh worship has been reconstructed from biblical texts, interpreted as records of divine revelation and communal memory. However, the discovery of cannabis and other psychoactive substances in ancient Israelite temples has introduced a new. Can you go up, please? Rez, can you? Go back down. You got to go down a little bit. I stopped at new. Right there. Has introduced a new disruptive dimension to this narrative. The evidence suggests that the ecstatic and visionary experiences at the core of early Yahweh worship were not solely the result of spiritual devotion or divine intervention, but were often chemically induced through ritual use of entheogens. Scroll up. Let's go to the archaeological evidence. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Stop there. Archaeological evidence. Cannabis at Tel Arad. The discovery, and analysis. In 2020, a landmark study published at the Journal of the Institute of Archaeology of Tel Aviv University documented the first known case of cannabis use in the ancient Near East in connection to uh, Jehudite worship. The study focused on residue from two altars excavated from an 8th century BCE shrine at Tel Arad, about 35 miles south of Jerusalem. These altars have been unearthed in the 1960s, but only recently were their organic residues subjected to advanced. You move too much. Uh, Come back down. Uh, you got to go up a little bit. Stop it. Oh, right there. Subjected to advanced chemical analysis using liquid and gas chromato- chromatography at the Israel Institute of Technology and the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Okay, so stop right there for a second. So there's been a testing and analysis done on these altars that's been found, and these are the conclusions um, um, of the residue and stuff that was found tested on the altars. Am I right, Reg? Can you scroll up so I can read? Scroll up. Oop, down. Too far. Too far. Go, keep going. Keep going. There. Okay. The results were unambiguous. Not ambiguous, ladies and gentlemen. The results were unambiguous. The larger altar contained remnants of frankincense, uh, a raisin mentioned in the Bible as a key ingredient for incense sacrifice in the ancient Jewish temples. The smaller altar contained residues of cannabinoids such as what's that, A9 tetrahydrocannabinol, THC basically, cannabinol, CBD, and cannabinol, CBN, the psychoactive compounds found in cannabis. Okay,
Okay, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. So Here is the I don't know what the hell is. I'm trying to figure out what the every time I speak. So here's the most high altar, right? Most high altar is where they down. So this is how you go high through the most high altar. Now, evidence was found atop dry animal. Did you hear that?
You said that there was animal dung mixed in with it.
Yes. So you got THC, got animal dung, and
So basically, we got shit and weed, right? Okay.
so after you got high, it felt real bad. It felt like shit.
Okay, so we getting high off of shit and weed. Okay.
So you got their concoction in cool, right? Was cannabis mixed with frankincense, right? And
Uh-huh.
animal dung, and you get a black, right? Which burns at a relatively low temperature, optimal for vaporizing cannabis. This method of combustion demonstrates a sophisticated understanding how to release the mind-altering properties of cannabis and indicates that its use was intentionally ritualized. And ladies and gentlemen, they created early crack to get high. Did y'all get that? Peace,
You know
brother
what?
Rob. Talk out
Peace,
here.
peace, peace, peace. You know what's interesting about that, Reg? Does that sound familiar? We see that same thing done in the Native American culture in shamans, where the shamans would go smoke it up and come back with revelations, right? Right?
Right.
So the shaman would come back. They said, we went to talk to the gods, and they came back with revelations for the people. Correct?
Right.
Hmm.
But they just didn't dumb. They didn't use voodoo.
Yeah, no doodle, no doodle was done.
No voodoo.
No doodle was done.
So El Taraj, you're getting high with cannabis and dung at a low temperature with frankincense above the dung, and going into altered state, and you're getting closer to God. Now, there's no excuse for you forcing Ms. on us and don't want to tell us how to perform, right? So can I continue?
Yes, sir.
I'm so sorry about this. I mean, I was having trouble with everybody's dad. Now, culture context. The Tel Arad was not marginal or paradox site, meaning it wasn't mixed with another culture, and it wasn't marginal. It was sponsored, officially sanctioned sanctuary of the king, and is structured with striking similarities to the temple in Jerusalem. The shrines in the temple, or holies of holies, house the two limestone altars where the psycho-aromatic substance. The placement of these altars at the entrance to the most sacred areas of time and deliberate preparation of their contents scores their cultural occultic ritual, meaning that this temple to get high was state sponsored. It wasn't. Yes. That,
Yeah, I don't know why your phone is, your mic is. You think maybe it's because you sharing the page? Because in the beginning, until you started sharing the page, your mic wasn't chopping up like that. Maybe that's using bandwidth or something.
no. Not. The only thing that I can do is have you read, and I could comment. That's the only thing I can do. Is check
No,
something.
well, where you at right now? It's not doing it. It's not doing it right now.
It's not doing it right now.
No.
I just hear this feedback. I don't know where the feedback. Let me check something. So while I'm searching, read this.
Okay. Uh, hold on.
The use of
Uh, where we at? The use of frankincense, a highly valued and imported racin, alongside cannabis, also reveals the existence, of long distance trade networks, with frankincense likely arriving via from the south.
no, 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 no. Stop. Okay. All
Oh,
right.
it's limestone authors. Hold up. Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
No, uh
Want me to read that?
okay. Right.
Arabian trade routes under Assyrian Empire's patronage. Notably, there is no evidence that cannabis was cultivated locally in the Levant at the time, suggesting it too was imported, possibly from regions as far away as the southeastern Russia or China. Interesting.
Okay, so this helps us with some timeline because we can trace this time frame, right, where Yahweh is to post, right, empire and the trade routes. So they had a plug on it.
Yeah, they had a plug.
Yeah. So they couldn't even create it locally more. They had a
Nope,
plug.
they had a plug. Yep.
This so Yahweh told them to do it,
Hey,
huh?
it's the Most High, right?
Yeah. Most guy got to get high.
Yeah, remember when the Bible said that Yahweh loved the smell. He loved the aroma. he, he loved the smell. Damn, that shit smell good.
Unbelievable. So they had a plug, and they was getting their plugs from as far as Russia and China. Crazy, right?
Yep.
Let me see what's going on. Brother Law, whip it off of on Last saying I smell
La said I smell boo boo.
with all of these 2,000 videos on the Yahweh attack on YouTube, the Black Israelites. I smell boo boo. So the tool that I'm trying to give you is that you can't take the information without asking them where these people hide this.
It
Um,
never occurred. It never occurred. It never occurred to even ask such questions, right? Never occurred. The whole time, all these years, Yahweh did this, Yahweh did this. No, his name was Yahweh Shai. He said this, he got this. And it never occurred to you that the people who's telling you the stories was high out of their damn minds.
so Morpheus, I'm gonna try to change my mic. So keep talking, right?
Yeah,
And I'll
yeah,
come up.
yeah. So these are the critical questions, right? Because, like I said, it never occurred to most people to ask certain questions. You know what I mean? See, when you start off, right? When you start, and I see this a lot of times, people make a mistake. If you start from the position that is already true, right? That the story that you're hearing is already true. If you start from that position and then start to work backwards, right? You done messed up because you already started with it's already true, right? Right? And most people start from that position, right? Which is a fallacy, which is a wrong place to start. You have to arrive at that point. You don't start there. That's not where you put your feet on the ground. You know what I mean? And most people make that mistake because they start the story as true. You know what I mean? And things like what we're talking about, it never occurred to ask these type of questions like, were the high priests getting high? Were the people in the temple, you know what I mean? That's saying they got revelations and prophets and something. Were they dealing with intoxicants, hallucinogenics? Were they dealing with those things back then? Because you would never think to ask that. At least most people wouldn't. You know what I mean? So it's something to really to stop and think about, and ask those critical questions. And then we come to find out within research that they were dealing with mind altering. You know what I mean? So that kind of puts a spin. That puts a different spin now on these stories, right? That you're hearing, right? So now let me ask you this question:
Oh,
If I
first, can
told
you hear
you,
me? Can you hear me?
yeah, I can.
Same, right? It's the same
Say again.
problem. You can't
Now
hear me.
keep talking. Keep talking.
Uh, so I'm agreeing with you. People start at the wrong place.
Yeah.
How's my sound? The same?
Talk for a while.
I'm just trying to check to see if my audio is the same. It's pretty much the same, or
No,
clear?
no, it's better. It's better.
Okay. So what Marcus is saying is that our whole community started at the wrong time, the wrong place. They're asking all the statements of the mythology, but they're never asking, uh, was the mythology created in alternate state? And what we're saying, mythology is created in alternate, and that becomes a major problem. And so we can't trust you talking about your mythology and trying to make it factual because you was getting high.
Yeah,
Were you able to hear me?
your your mic. People are saying is really bad. Is
Okay, so I'm gonna switch mics. I'm gonna switch mics. No problem. Okay.
Yeah, people are saying it. Yeah, we're sorry, y'all. We're having some technical difficulties, but we're just trying to unpack this, right? So ask yourself this question, ladies and gentlemen, right? If a person was intoxicated, um, um, and there's evidence of them being intoxicated, right? Dealing with some type of substance, and they're clearly under the influence, and then they came and told you, hey, I spoke to God, or I got a revelation from God. Ask yourself, would you believe that person, or what would you think? What would be the thought that go to your comes to your mind? That person comes to you and say, "Hey, I got a revelation from God. God said blah 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 blah," and you know that this person is intoxicated, influenced, dealing with different substance. From a show of hands, number one, put a one in the chat if you would believe that person or take that person serious. Put a two if you would believe them and take them serious. Can you do that? I want
Yeah,
to see.
let me see what the chat said. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Same?
No, a little better. So people in the chat, please put a one, right? If you would believe that person. Excuse me. Put a one. Yeah, if you would believe that person. Put a two if you wouldn't believe that person. The person is under the influence. You know that he's under the influence, right? It's clear. You have the evidence that he's under the influence. And he said he has a revelation, and he spoke to God, Yahweh, or whoever, right? Would you believe that person, or would you not believe that person? I'm being practical. I'm putting in day to day practical order. What we got, Reg? Because I can't see
You can't see what?
the chat.
Oh, okay. So the chat, you can't see
So,
the chat? Okay,
huh?
so they're not chatting.
They're not interacting.
Brother Law said true.
That he wouldn't believe them,
No, he wouldn't
right?
believe.
Right. Cool. Because that's exactly what's going on, right? That's exactly what's happening based on this evidence found that there were people, high priests, because this is in the temple, mind you. This is not being found in people's private homes. This is being found in where, Reg? The Holy of Holies, correct?
That's correct. The Holy Holy.
Right. So this is where the stuff is being found. This is where the rituals are taking place. This is where the sacrifices are taking places. This is where, the messages or information, whatever you want to call it, is coming from here. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct.
So act like all that is coming from this building. Now everybody in that building is getting high, right?
And they're getting their drugs from China, Russia, and other places.
They're getting that ooh wee, right?
Okay, so if you can hear me, can you hear me better or not? So I can go on.
Now you're not going. I want you to go on. Yeah, you're okay.
Okay, so family. So we have established that in the holies of holies, they were mixing cannabis, dung, frankincense, right, to get closer to God. And to get closer to God, they needed to get their narcotics from the trade routes because it wasn't in the Levant, right? And so now we have a better chronology of when these things actually occur, right? Now they want you to believe the stories as they were written by divine inspired people. But Morpheus, they weren't divine inspired people. They were simply high,
They were high.
talking to the Most High.
Yeah, they was high. That's like people today who will take mushrooms, ayahuasca, or a DMT trip. Because everybody who does it, right? Everybody who does it, and you hear their experiences, they explain entities, gods, right? All of them say the same thing, man. I experienced, man, some different beings and entities and God. So it made
Miracles,
me right.
right? Miracles.
Yeah. So
So it
it
calls,
made me. Yeah.
uh-huh.
So it made me think. Hmm.
so so it calls into question. It calls into question the basis of their beliefs. Now, uh, ritual function checked. The evidence is clear that cannabis was not used incidentally or medicinally. So it wasn't used incidentally or medicinally, but as a deliberate psychoactive to stimulate ecstasy as part of the cultural ceremonies.
Hmm.
The researchers concluded if this is so, this is first evidence in the cult of Judah. The methods of burning cannabis with dung, the separation of frankincense and cannabis for different altars, and the sophistication knowledge of how to induce a high all point to a ritual system designed to produce altered states of consciousness among priests and possibly worshippers. The fragrance of marijuana does not lend itself to use as incense, so its burning was almost certainly for psychoactive properties, not its aroma. The use of
Right.
animal dung as a fuel source, which burns at a lower temperature, indicates an understanding of the chemistry required to release the psychoactive compounds without destroying them. As the Wari Mamdar, one of the researchers noted, to induce a high, you need the right temperature, and they clearly knew this well, just as they knew which fuel to use for its substance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is crack, right? This is not personal crack. This is organized, right? So that you get a contact. So that means you're coming in contact with your divine, which is the Most High.
Yep. Yep. And so is the term high priest, or should it be or the term should be the priest that was high?
Morpheus, I thought you said my mic was better. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. It went back again. It went back again.
I changed mics. I did everything. So I could do one or two things. I could keep you reading, or I could come out and come back in.
Now, how come right now while you're talking, it's not doing that?
I don't know. So let me talk a little slower.
Is it a headset, or is it like the where you coming through?
I don't know. Hey, Rakim 777, how you doing? Rakim says the Most High said fix my mic. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna come right back in and see if it's better. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So come. I'll come right back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at the findings and we're discussing that. Uh, I'd like to know. I'm trying to say the chat. What are your thoughts?
Morpheus, when I'm coming out, I gotta come out of the whole studio. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be black for a while, but I'm gonna be here. All right. So let me get out of here. So come back. Right. Give me a 5 minute, 4 minutes.
Okay. I don't know, y'all. Am I still here? Can you people still see me? I don't know. This is a new app that we're using. I think I'm okay. Where is the chats. Okay, I can see now. Brother Law said, "Go out and come back in." Rakim 777 Peace said the most high said fiction. Yeah, we don't know what's going on with his mic, but we gonna try to get it. Yeah, we're gonna try to figure it out. So anyway, what are your thoughts about that? Right, about the high priest, the people in the temple getting high. Right, I'm interested in the people's thoughts because you already know my thoughts because I'm sharing it with them. As I brought it to Reg's attention the other day, and I said, "Hey, have you Miss Dr. Mulams, hello. Rock in peace, my brother. Uh, yeah, so what are your thoughts, Rakim, what's your thoughts about that? About the findings that they found inside the temple? Brother Law, what's your thoughts? Barn Dog, peace, brother. What are your thoughts after hearing this? And I would like for you guys to Google, look at the studies, and look at the research that's been found and done. Excuse me, and tell me your thoughts about that. Right, because at this point, what we're finding out. Oh, look, what happened?
Can you hear me? Let's just check to see, Morpheus, if they can hear me. Maybe you have to come back in. Uh, yeah. So at the stream, there you go. Was I? Let's see. I message. Um, hey family, if you can hear me, press 1 while I wait for Morpheus to come back in. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, press 1. Uh, mhm. Testing, testing.
Hello, hello.
Morpheus, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, wonderful. All right, so what were you saying, Morph?
Uh, oh, I was interacting with the people
Yes.
and was asking them what are their thoughts. I'm interested in what's going through their heads when.
Okay, Morpheus froze. So Morpheus said he was interacting with the people and asking them what's going in through their heads when they're hearing this. So Morph, you might have to come back out. You might have to come back out and try it again. So somehow I messed you up. So come back out. Yeah, great. Okay, so I'm continuing with what Morpheus is talking about. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. 2,000 videos. And Sister Mo, Dr. Mo Lamb, how you doing, my good sister? Love you. Think about this. For the last 6 years to 8 years, all we've been hearing is early Hebrew, the Mibs, and all of these type of things that they've been talking about, right? For the last 8 years. All these presentations. But we come to find out that it was all built on dung in its earliest. And that they're converts. And so they had no responsibility to tell you this information, right? None whatsoever. Because one, they didn't know it themselves, right? But two, they had no responsibility to you. No responsibility at all. Their whole thing is to push their material to you for clicks and giggles and cash apps and donations, and to make themselves important. But having no responsibility to scholarship. None. Morph, can you say
Yo,
something?
yo,
Yeah,
yo.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So these people for eight years, Morph, they've been invading our spaces with a new way to push biblical information, but they're converts. They can't read it verbatim, right? And they've been pushing it on our community and being irresponsible. Now we find out in 2020, because books are always late. So it took us some time to find this out. But from 2020, when it was being released, they didn't want to bring it up. They wanted to
Nope.
marginalize it, huh?
Yep. Exactly right. They wanted to marginalize it.
So it calls to question, one, their integrity, two, their scholarship, right? So there's nothing that any of them could say to me unless they address the fact that in Tel Arad, they got high. Now, they could do it to y'all, but I'm giving you a tool with Morpheus to say, no, I don't want to hear about your MIBs because the scholarship says that you got high. So that means you induce yourself in an altered state, and you're telling us that this is divinely inspired, and we're saying to you that you were just high talking to the Most High.
Right. Which is no different than, like I said before, than other people in cultures who was smoke, like in the Middle East where they smoke opium, right? Where you had a shaman, people who would smoke this or take that to go into a what they call a divine state and get information or revelation from that. So what's the difference here?
There's no difference. And
None.
so it's not real. So family, in its inception, it wasn't real. Why are you making it real? How does that make you feel? I need to hear the chat. And Mix is talking to you. She hears you.
Yeah. Hi, sweetie.
So
Yeah.
I want to know from you, the chat. How do you feel that these people who are pushing this stuff never told you that there was their holies of holies, right? They was creating this black dung goo, right? and uh and this is where they was connecting with God. And that you were
Yeah.
supposed to believe this, huh? Say what, Marv?
Yeah. I'm saying I agree with you. It's like, how does that make you feel knowing that your information, right? The information that you've been getting has been coming from people who's high out of their mind.
Now I'm mad. See, I'm not like you, Morph. You really like the information, right?
Yeah.
I'm mad. I'm asking you people to ask for your money back. You need refunds. You need refunds for all of these. Oh, it was powerful. All of these crazy conversations that we have on these channels, except for Garfield's channel, which he goes into the facts. Shout out Garfield,
Hmm.
right? Uncle Keck, he goes into the facts, right? Cam Verse and others, they don't do biblical information, right? But they go into the facts. Smash goes into the facts. And I know some of you lame people are talking about, well, what about ancient Egypt? You know, they were in ancient Egypt. They learned all the ways of the pharaohs and stuff like that. Look, I'm not, you got me all wrong. I studied the culture of Africa, right? But to produce writing, right? To produce these structures, you can't be high, right? You can't be high to produce pyramids. You can't be high to produce writing, right? You can't. If you compare what is in Africa at that time to the Levant, there's no comparison, right? There's no comparison. So if you take something like this, in late, we're talking like the 8th century. This is what they're producing in 8th century. I know why. They were high. Talking to the most high, right? This is what they have in the 8th century. Now, nothing about this is great. Nothing about this is lasting, right? But you have let these channels and these people bombard your mind with low degrees that they have, can't write, can't cite, never seen them in a university setting, right? But they pushing this drug. Now the drug is not cannabis. The drug is fake information. And they're pushing it on you, right? Now, I've been on for 2 hours. I'm going to put my Cash App in so I can give it to Morpheus, who's my content creator for the show. And I'm going to take a look at the Cash Apps. And guess what? If you can't support tonight, that's fine. I don't want to bury you, but I got two, how can I say? I got at least 2 more 3 hours of this show. So all of these people running around with their, I don't care if they're men, I don't care if they're women, and they're experts, and they call themselves experts on the Bible, and nobody knows the Bible. They never told you that they was getting high, right?
Never told you that part.
Okay, so now Tall God Hero says, respectfully but truthfully, this is corny. Y'all know I love you, but y'all sound hell's prudish, taking this approach where there's 1,000 other ways to destroy Abrahamic religions. Tall God Hero, I respect you, but it's not me. This is all sourced. I'm not making these points. Everything got a damn source. Look, I'm going to teach y'all how to read. The evidence is clear that cannabis was not used incidentally or medicinally, but as a deliberate psychoactive to stimulate ecstasy as part of occultic ceremonies. The research concluded, if so, this is the first such evidence in the Code of Judah. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. The method of burning cannabis with dung, the separation of frankincense and cannabis on different altars, and to sophisticated knowledge of how to induce a small to a high, all point to a ritual system. Right over here, we're cited. The fragrance of marijuana does not lend itself to the use as incense, so its burning was almost certainly for its psychoactive properties. Now, Tall God Hero, all respect to you, because you're my dude. You bigger than me, right? But the difference is if I was just talking and I wasn't letting you know that I was citing. So let's go to 8, right? So let's go here. The Times of Israel. Can I, let me see if I can click on it. Let me see if I can click on it. Tall God Hero says, you're missing my entire point. Good brother, I'm not arguing the historical veracity of it. I'm pointing out your closed-mindedness. I'm not high.
He don't. So wait. He said you're closed-minded.
Yeah, I'm closed-minded, but I'm not high.
Yeah. Wait. What? Give me the alternative, brother. Because you say we closed minded. Get open our mind up. Let me hear your open mind to this. Get go. Let me hear your open mind.
Oh no, now I gotta send the link. Nope. Now we got nope. Wait 1 second. And now I gotta send the link. Okay. Read my argument. Your rebuttal was pure straw man. What was your argument? Talk our hero, you my dude, but nope. Where's the share screen? Where's the share screen? Let me invite the guys.
Me myself, I'll go with the experts on the subject matter. I'll
Okay, so
listen.
here goes.
I'll go, Reg. I'll go with the archaeologists. Okay, I'll go with the scientists who did the testing. I'll go with those.
Okay.
That's
No,
me.
no. I stop sharing. I'm going to share because sorry, my camera's not working. That was the thing about this. So let's go and find. Let's put it. No. Talk Guy Hero, you got the link. So when I read a paper that has citations, these are not my arguments. These are not my arguments. My arguments is what they said. They're the ones who's saying this. Now, y'all might not like my voice, right? You may not like my voice. I got that,
I
right?
want to hear. I want to hear his rebuttal. Please come on. I want
Morpheus
to
is
hear.
acting like
Uh,
I'm arguing the historical veracity. Bro, then what are you arguing? Okay. Have you ever heard of Coltrane, Miles, and Marley? Yeah. Um, I've used to play the soprano and I used to play the alto. I used to play as best as I can as Coltrane. I used to also listen to, in a band, right? Listen to Miles, right? And with other people that played the trumpet, they played Miles. I played jazz. I am well aware of avant-garde. I am well aware of the altissimo register of the saxophone, right? And of course, I listen to Marley. But do you mean that to go to those lists in music that are you arguing for the use of drugs? I don't have a problem. Uh, some of our greatest musicians use drugs for music. My
what?
issue is these people are using drugs to talk to God or to create religion. So if you are saying that these early books are like a few of my favorite things, that's a Coltrane song, right? Um, yeah, it was a few of their favorite things. Weed. Now, so I just need the argument. You can go into altered state for entertainment, but we're not talking about entertainment,
Is
right?
that his argument? That's his point that he's making that Coltrane and Miles and Marley. I mean, I don't want to misrepresent you, bro, but is that your argument?
I mean, some of our great rappers was high, but that's art. We're not talking about art. We're talking about a religion, right? That people get buried with. So I mean, no, tall guy hero. You gotta come on. Because I value you. So you gotta come on and you gotta explain your point. Because one of the things I did in this paper was um, is that I looked at the arguments that people uh, make, right? So it's a spiritual journey. If you think it's just entertainment, you're missing the boat. It is entertainment. The Ten Commandments, the crossing of the Exodus, it didn't happen. There's no record for it to happen. It's entertainment. So you're saying I should value the entertainment over historical facts? Okay, so Tall Guy Hero,
So
my good brother Tall Guy Hero, he's a great supporter, and everybody has differences. I just need to hear the argument. Is the Ten Commandments entertainment? I want to know. Is Adam and Eve entertainment? So you're telling me early Yahweh and Asherah, that's your religion, that's people's, well, that's not even a religion because it's been sanitized. They took away these things, right? So you're going to say that our myths are more important than facts?
So is he saying? Let me ask a question. This is him again. The altered mind states.
That's a heretic. Right.
Okay, who is the altered mind states contributed to these artists' works as well? As
Right.
well.
That's art.
Right. Right. That's art. So are you saying that the altered mind states that they were in were divine? Are you saying they were divine?
Our problem is you could call some music and
Peace.
hit you in a certain way. You could have an ecstasy moment with let's see, somebody like Billie Holiday.
Peace. Peace. Peace, y'all.
Lady
Peace.
sings the blues.
Peace.
For the law. But and Billie Holiday, she unfortunately used heroin. So then a lot of that was a jazz thing. Huh?
Yes, I was actually just about to say that, Red, so you don't have to indulge into or go any further. There's a difference between marijuana and dog food.
Hmm.
Meaning, I've never heard of any dope fiend writing a book or doing everything off a nod. Let's just get that right.
Right. So
But
so 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 we gotta make a distinction, right? When you're talking about let's say like people come in the recording studio, they working on their record and they smoking weed, right? Cool. Watch this. So they're getting high, right? And they go in the vocal booth and they lay down some shit. Right, cool. Are we making that equal, right, to these people in the desert who's saying they're getting revelation from a divine source of God? Are we making those two equal? I want to understand that first.
yes, that's the fortunate thing, Morpheus. Yes, they are. Because they're confusing art, the creativity of producing great art, with things that are true.
No, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. How do you tell the difference from someone who's getting information from a divine source and someone who thinks he's getting information from a divine source? How do you tell the difference between those two?
You go to the experts and you look at analysis. So, for example, I am going to go. Oh, what happened? Jose Francis was trying to get on. So let me see. I want to share my screen. So Jose, stay on top. Stay right there. So here you go. Stay there, right? Allow. Okay. So now, Jose, come back in. Uh, all right. So here we go. Prophetic and priestly visions. Biblical passages describe priests and prophets experiencing ecstatic states, ecstasies, states, often interpreted as visions or direct encounters
Right.
with the divine. For example, Isaiah 28:7-8 critiques priests who reel in vision. That's the concept, to reel in vision from strong drink, suggesting that altered states of consciousness were a recognized and sometimes controversial aspect of religious life. Moses' encounters with Yahweh, Elijah's visions, and Ezekiel's chariot vision all bear features reminiscent of estheogen-induced experience. That's not me talking, right? That's source number 4. So now let me go to source number 4, right? Because you're confusing me, right, with making these points. I'm the researcher, like Morpheus, right? And our job is to give you sources. So I'm not going to make stuff up on something as important as this. I'm not going to do it. Okay. So where's this thing right here? Did this come up? Oh, was it what happened? Okay, so I know what happened. But I can bring up a source.
Yeah, while you doing that, Reg, I would like for somebody to uh, answer my question. And my question was, how do you tell the difference between someone who believes he talked to a God and someone who actually talked to a God? How do you tell the difference between those two?
Anybody can come on. Anybody can talk. How do you tell the difference? Can somebody say? Okay.
Repeat the question, Morpheus.
My question was, how do you tell the difference for someone who believes he's got divine revelation? Let me put it that way. How do you tell the difference, again, from someone who believes he has divine revelation and talk to a God and someone who actually got divine revelation and spoke to a God? How do you tell the difference between those two?
One being sober and one not being sober.
But you need evidence, right?
Right, right.
Right? You need evidence. Of course, I would say that. I'm not going to play around. You need evidence. So if there's no evidence except for someone saying that, then that doesn't unfortunately count. Do you understand? So you need evidence that you talk to God and God talked back.
Right.
Evidence is not something that you put in a book. That means that there's an account, but that doesn't mean evidence, right? So,
No, what evidence basically means, Reggie, is
yeah, yes.
what evidence basically means, so we can just keep it in layman terms, is it has to be somebody present that actually saw it, that can vouch more than just coming out of your mind and it's through your eyes. Several people actually saw it, things of that nature.
That's right. So
Or
you need multiple accounts. So good, thank
So
you.
there, so there, so then,
yes.
if we're gonna use that as the guideline, which is cool, but let's say that's the guideline, then we have to say, well, the 1,000 people in Italy, right, and the three little girls that saw the Virgin Mary in the sky, and we have all those testimonies, was actually fact, and they actually did see the Virgin Mary, right? Am I right?
Right. So, so Okay, so if they saw the Virgin Mary, right, and there's multiple groups of people who say that they saw the Virgin Mary, then that you have to take account that a group of people testified that they saw the Virgin Mary.
Right.
Then you have to go and to do the next step, right? The next step is, did they really see the Virgin Mary, or did they see something else?
Right. Because what I'm going by is saying, okay, if testimony, if we're going to do things, accept things, but on the basis of testimony and testimony alone, then we can't do any special pleading for anybody. So everybody got to get the same test. Like the Joseph Smith, there's 12 people who testified that they saw the angel. What's his name? Maroney give Joseph Smith the golden tablets, right? So we actually have 12 people who testified to that. So are we to say, yeah, he really did get the golden tablets because we have 12 testimonies,
That's
right?
correct. That's correct. That's absolutely. So we have testimony. So now at least we have testimony, right? We have testimony that they said, but now we have to try to figure out what was the interaction? Was there more than just seeing it, right? Was there any interaction? So that becomes another part of it. But the part right here is that some of these accounts lack the eyewitness testimony. They lack it because they're not the original writers. Do you understand? So they're not the original writers. So I have to respond to uh Tall Guy Hero, my brother. Do either of you ever study quantum physics? We could review the tale of physics by Fritjof Capra. That would make some dope content. We are absolutely talking about dope, by the way, right? That's what we're talking about. No doubt about that. Now, about quantum physics, well, quantum physics, of course, there are very theoretical positions.
Theoretical, yeah, a lot of it is.
However, um, these theories are scientific theories, and we create tools to bring us closer to seeing and trying to understand and trying to isolate the phenomena. And we can use tools such as electron microscopes. We can use tools such as the how can I say these well, it's different than a microscope. It's these electron spectrometers. We can use uh, uh,
So
yeah,
watch this, Reg. So I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. You
no,
just made me think. You just made me think about something, right? So all these things, when we start talking about supernatural stuff, right? Right, because these are all supernatural claims, right? Uh, Supernatural doesn't fit in the realm of scientific. God is not a scientific. You can't prove God by science, right? You can't prove none of that by science. Supernatural by science. Fine. So within the spectrum of science, none of these things can be proven scientifically. So my question now is, okay, so if you can't use the tools of science, right, to prove the supernatural, God, Yahweh, gods, whatever, what tools do one use? Because remember, you can't use the tools of science, right? Because the things we're talking about don't fit in the realm of science. So the question is, what tools does one use then? It's not anything in science because these are not scientific questions. Am I correct?
that's correct.
So
So
then, so for the people who subscribe to the supernatural claims, my question is, what tools do you use? Because you can't use scientific tools, right? We use scientific tools, right, to demonstrate everything within the natural universe, right? But when you talk about supernatural, you're outside of that realm, right? So then, what tools do you use?
Belief, Morpheus. That's the only tool they have.
Say it again.
They only have one tool called belief because they can't prove anything else.
Right. So then, now stop. That's a very beautiful answer. Now, belief, is belief subjective or objective?
Well, I guess it's definitely subjected to something for sure.
Right. So then that means that if it's subjective, that means that it's something that exists to a person in their mind. You feel me? To that individual, right?
Yeah,
Because yeah. So it's not objective. It can't be excuse me, objectively verified
exactly.
externally, right? It can't be, right? So it exists subjectively to that person and that person alone.
So I see where
Would,
so
would, would you
Mor-
agree?
yeah, but I see where you're going, Morpheus. You told me the alley oop to say if it's in your mind and your
Right.
expert is high, then we can't trust your mind anymore.
Well. We don't know. I'm not saying you can't trust your mind, but it's a critical question to really ask, right, or to think about. Because other words, like if you and I look at a tree, we can both verify that objectively that tree is right there, right?
Yeah,
If I brought 20 people and we all say that's a tree, and all of us, so objectively, we can all objectively agree that that's a tree.
yeah,
Cool. Now, if I say to you, hey, there's a tree right there in my mind, right? But nobody else sees that tree, right? But to me, I see that tree, right? And that's subjective, correct?
That's
yeah.
correct.
But then,
Yeah.
but then here's the thing, though, Morpheus. You see the tree, correct?
I'm sorry. You fell out for a second. I didn't hear you. Can you repeat it? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
he's having little technical difficulties as well.
To probably all. You hear me?
So yeah,
Uh, 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 Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming back. Okay.
I said if all 20 of us had some get high, then we would all see the tree, even though it's not there. But we all
I
think
was
it's
just
there.
about to say that, brother.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
if we all get
Yeah.
high, we may not see the same tree.
But we,
So one of
but
us can. No, listen, stop playing. Y'all gotta stop playing. Y'all gotta stop playing. We're talking about people's early beliefs. So you really really gotta stop this, right? Um, these early beliefs, what the scientists have said is that these early beliefs have the properties of being psychoactive, right? Um, es- ethno theogenic, right? They have those properties. So now you want to be apologist and okay, so I'm gonna play. I'm gonna show you what the experts say, and I'm gonna see. Let me just see something right here. Uh,
Reggie,
yes.
I just want to say this to you, brother. This information that you presenting right now to the masses of maybe Hebrews that are watching the channel right now, you know how damaging this is, brother.
Uh, I'm not presenting it. Morpheus is presenting it.
Yeah,
Morpheus,
I'm just presenting the findings. That's all I do all day is research shit. You know what I mean?
Morpheus, I know for a fact, brother. But what I'm saying to you, beloved, is this: everything, even from my information and from my recollection, I'm just looking at the standpoint of their existence before Cherry didn't
Right,
exist.
right, right.
Now you're going to the point where you even going further than that, specifying that they was burning frankincense, which I love.
I love
What
frankincense. Yep.
with Boo Boo and marijuana.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is crazy, man.
I mean,
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. So
keep that in.
what we're doing is we're looking at ancient people, right? We're looking at an ancient people, a people group, okay? That people group, right? And we're looking at the research and the findings that's coming from out of their temples, right, in ancient time. So now that we can analyze that and unpack and look at, oh, this is what they found here. Well, oh, this is what they found in the altars. This is what they found in the temples, and we see that one now has to say, one now intelligent person can't walk away from the point that they were getting intoxicated. You can't
See,
walk away. You can't walk away from that,
but
right?
but Morpheus, why are we acting like there's no evidence of other ancient cultures smoking weed, slipping peyote, and talking to their deities? This was a
Be,
regular practice in the ancient world.
be,
It's not
no, we're
unique.
not. No, we're not acting it. This is
I
the
mean,
difference, right? What I'm trying to. Okay, this is the difference. A, we're not talking about other cultures, right? That we're not talking about that, right? We're talking about a particular people group culture, right? A people group culture that has a religion, right? That influenced the world, right? At least, you know, a big part of the world comes from writings by said people. Those people who's conveying information in those storylines are coming from people who were intoxicated. That's the point,
but
right?
but
So that's why I asked the question. That's why I asked the question: how do you tell the difference between someone who's intoxicated and says that they've gotten divine revelation, right, and someone who actually got divine revelation? How do you tell the difference? It's a logical question. How do you tell the difference between those two?
I would I would agree with you, but the sad part is oftentimes you can't tell the difference because people get revelation, sound like they're crazy, they're high, and they need pills. So you
Like
can't tell the difference.
So, like who, for example? Give me one. Give me people who got revelation from a divine source. Because here's your first problem. You got to prove that there's a divine source. You got to prove causation. Because you're talking causation, not correlation. There's a
I,
difference between causation and correlation. You got
I
to
am
prove
just
cause.
I would agree with you, but I am agreeing with you with saying that you can tell the difference between someone who had the and someone who's high or schizophrenic because they sound the same. You can't tell the difference unless you hear it too. Then you might think you're going crazy too. So
I
you
agree with
can't,
you.
and that's the
Okay,
point. They make it.
okay.
They sound schizophrenic and they act schizophrenic too. And if it wasn't a religion, they'd probably be strapped down with some pills if they didn't say God said. So,
All right.
Okay.
so excellent.
Family, it's 11:27. Now, it's 11:07. I'm putting my chill music on, right? Uh, we're chilling. Now, I'm going to put up, okay, I just checked the Cash App and I got no Cash Apps for the show. I got none. So
None.
I got zero for the show.
With this,
Nothing.
hold on. With this powerful reveal,
I got nothing,
wow.
right? So I'm going to put up the Cash App again, right? And I'm going to ask you to think about the implications of this show and how you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray. Your time was stolen, right? You learned nothing from these shows, right? Except for maybe 10% of the information, right? You learned nothing. You got finessed. You got all of that. And I am simply with Brother Morpheus trying to get your life back and your time back. So here's the Cash App. Chill mode. I will send
Born Born a King says, if the Holy Spirit is not residing with that person, they will definitely not have no divine revelation or intervention. Born
Yeah,
King,
I born a king.
let me ask you a question, Born King. Why should I believe in a Holy Spirit? What is the evidence of the Holy Spirit? That's part of the get high shit we talking about. That is part of the hallucinator shit. Why do I believe? Should I believe in the Holy Spirit?
Wait. Before that, Holy Spirit in Christianity, Holy Spirit in the Hebrew, because they got names.
It's the same thing.
They got names. These forces got names. What name are you talking about that interacts with humans in Genesis?
It's the same thing.
Family, serious. I'm asking for. Listen, I want to pay for the show for my guests, right? And I need your help. I got 0 cash apps. I need your help. I'm at least trying to get $35 to $40. That's all. Denise Wells, how you doing, sister? Denise Wells says the Bible is real. You live in it. What part of the Bible, Denise, are we living? We're not living Exodus. We're not living Genesis. We're not living Isaiah.
we ain't living Psalms.
Right? What part of the Bible are we living, sister?
Are we living First Samuel? What we talking about here?
You saying we live in Deuteronomy? Those ships have to be those Israelites that landed in Elephantine Island. They couldn't be sold. They couldn't be sold. There was no buyers for them. What are we talking about? Born a king. Okay, so there you go, Denise. A revelation. Sister, revelation, it didn't come yet. Sister, it didn't come yet. It's a prophecy. None of that came yet.
So how you living it if it ain't come yet? Oh man, some of these arguments these people come with, man, is funny.
No, I mean my sisters, they can do no wrong. Except for the ones that's on them other channels.
Man.
On our channel, they can do no wrong. Sister, what part of the Bible are we living? And I'm asking for cash apps. I'm gonna keep putting it up here, or I'm gonna do another show, but you owe me. I can't. It pains me for us to come up with these topics, right? To come up with evidence, and on those other shows, you let people finesse you, and you get nothing out of return. I got one cash app, and it is. Let me see. Nope, I didn't even get a cash app. I pressed the wrong button. So Marv, I don't know I don't know. Maybe we have 12 people on. I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong time, the wrong show. So let me just check somewhere else. So Morph, we may have to come back on and do the rest of the show at another time.
Yeah, we could do that.
Because listen, Matt 2466, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. CDB not trouble, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
You know how long wars and rumors of wars been going on for thousands and thousands of years before Jesus was even thought of. Are you kidding me right now?
That's a prophecy to hear. Denise Wells, the churches, pastors, is false prophets. They lead his sheep away. You're right about that. They was getting high. You're getting led away when your early Yahweh worshipers are getting high. You don't realize that someone is selling you something that's not true. What else y'all got?
It hurts, man. It hurts.
The churches, pastors, is false.
Right. Only you got the right one. I got you.
But the fact of the matter is, it's based on marijuana use, dung, and frankincense, right? So we shouldn't believe them then, and we shouldn't believe them now. Let me see.
That's the part right there that's killing me, man.
Yo,
That
Lord,
part right
that's why they was called. That's why they was called the high priest.
that is killing me right now.
So tall guy Harold, thank you so much. You got 100 for Morpheus, right? How can I Zelle you or some other vehicles where there's no middleman? Is Cash App? Cash App ain't got no middleman.
And he's saying because Cash App take some of it.
How much? A few.
Probably about if you put $50, they'll probably take 6, some shit like that. Yeah. But these are interesting conversations. You know what I mean? To have, right. It really is interesting conversation. But I try to put it in practical terms, right? I try to look at it practical, and I say to you, right? I hand you a writing, a book. Me, say me Morpheus, right? I come and I give you a book, right? Or even remember, it's not a book yet; it's oral. Excuse me. Let's go through the steps. I give you an oral message. I tell you that this oral message is from a deity, whatever deity makes you happy, right? So I'm coming, I'm giving you a message and say, this is from a deity, right? And you say, okay, and you receive the message that I give you, correct? Now, you come to find out that I'm in the back room with a bong, right? And I'm smoking. Do you accept the message from the deity from me? And if so, why? And if not, why not? That's my question.
But Morpheus, you know, the first thing they're gonna say is the Holy Spirit using him no matter what condition. That's the first thing they're gonna say.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you, but I'm trying to give a logical. Well, I don't know why I do that because they're not logical. They don't use logic.
Don't talk about my guests like that. Don't
Yes.
talk about my guests like that, huh?
But let me pose another question to you, Morpheus. But the rise on the
No.
stage.
Before you go, I want to thank RL. I want to thank you, RL, for the only donation tonight. Right? All this other chit chat is nice. I appreciate it. Right? It's okay. But RL sent a little donation. That's Christoph Heretic.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much. Now, who's
Thank
next?
you, brother.
All this extra chit chat is getting away from the point that the show's getting ready to end, and I'm not even finished yet. I just started letting you know that you have been gotten, right? You've been gotten. You give your money freely to the fake stuff of a promise, right? Promises that are not fulfilled. Now, I say apologetic claim number 1. Entheogens were medicinal, not ritual. The discovery of cannabis residues on altars until arrived holies of holies, the most sacred area of the shrine, confirms that their ritual, not medicinal use, the cannabis was mixed with animal dung to optimize slow burning and inhalation. This is designed to induce psychoactive effects. Frankincense found on a separate altar further underscores the intentional pairing of the substances for sensory and spiritual impact. Medicinal use would not explain its placement in a restricted cultic space or its deliberate preparation for inhalation. Sources 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Reggie's not saying it. This is an apologetic claim. Denise Wells, do I believe in the mark of the beast? No. What do I believe in? What I can objectively verify. If I can't objectively verify it, then I how can I say I may want to believe it, I may fool myself into believing it, right? But the fact of the matter is, it's just my personal emotions. That's not enough to say it's true. That's not enough to say it's true. So what we want is objectively verified information. Now, in this period where we're talking about 2,500 years ago, this little shrine, what we know is on one side was the frankincense, and the other side was the marijuana mix, the imported marijuana, cannabis, from some other place, mixed with dung, right? And combined, the two smokes combined to create an effect where you can have a hallucinogenic experience of Yahweh. And at this time, it was Yahweh asking.
This sounds crazy, man. Yo,
Yeah, man. So I mean, people just gotta admit, right? They just have to admit that people got high. Even a high priest, they not excluded from getting high. You know what I'm saying? It's like they got high. You feel me? People want to make them special, like no, they got high, dog. And they got and you know what? Yo, Reg, they got this shit from Russia and China. Woo!
They got that good. They got that good.
They got that good.
but now what's going to happen is, because you're speaking about in the region of China, now they're going to say, for the most part, that it wasn't marijuana,
It might
that
be
it was
opium.
opium.
That's what I was thinking, bro. I was saying if some of it came from China, China's known for opium, which
Right.
would even make it even worse.
Yeah, but they didn't scientifically test and find out that it was opium. So
Right.
Indeed, right,
So
indeed. Because those attributes would be somewhat similar to the same, and I don't mean to come at you and say it this way, but people that follow in regards to Kemet, when they said that they found cocaine in mummies, when in actuality we all know that it wasn't cocaine, that it was cop.
Another substance that came from a plant that would give you that same issue, but the difference is that I'm not a proponent saying that I believe in any of those deities or natures, right? I believe in the natures as principles. I don't believe in principles of nature. I do not believe in it as making them gods. So I don't do that. You got the wrong person that studies Kemet with that. I don't do that.
But Morpheus, let me pose a question into the chat. If you find out that Muslims and Christians are doing it, right? What I mean, you understand there's laws in the chat now, and he can deal with it because it wasn't Muslims. But if he didn't ever find out Muslims are doing it, what then would he do?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
What you're here championing the use of drugs, and you don't have a problem with it because they said it was early Jews. And if you said it was Muslim, what would you say to
I wish I could understand you better, because it sounds like a good question, but I can't. Unfortunately, I can't. You know what I mean? Hear you.
You hear me?
You start to break up.
All right, let me try again. I said, Brother Lars in here championing what you're saying. If he found that Muslims are doing it, what would he do? That's my question.
Oh, you're talking about Islam and
So
this?
so so you're saying if I just want to understand, if in the history of Islam and you found that they were smoking whatever opium or whatever, you said what would you do?
Well, what would Brother Allah say to that then? If it was Muslims and
Well, the issue is all cultures, to some degree, had shamanic relationships, right? So, but the problem is that Islam comes way after Telerad, and so they believe in the books, right? But they weren't there to verify the book. But you have a right to your beliefs, right? But we're looking at a situation where we know that they were smoking. So me going to Islam at this point is a nothing burger because Islam is after the fact of this early encounter 2,500 years ago.
But
So
Reggie,
I'm gonna bring Islam into it. Those are arguments.
I was
that-
posting, I was
Yes.
I was actually posing the question to Brother Allah.
You was messing with law.
No,
And
I
I'm not messing with law.
question
Over,
to ask him that. It wasn't really for you then. Because he's championing it now, but if it was Islam then. Because I want to see.
Yeah, but what do you mean by what would he do? That's where I'm confused at. Like what do you mean? Like what would he do?
What I'm saying.
That's why I didn't even bother answering the question. When I actually heard the question clearly, I didn't even bother
No, I'm
answering
making
the
the point.
question.
He's championing it because it's not Islam, but that's what Islam. I want to see if he's up there.
No, I'm not championing it at all because it has nothing to do with the deen of Islam. What I'm championing is this: the mere fact of scientifically, and my perception of it is this, and I'm just going to be clear. I don't believe it was weed at all. I believe it was opium. Just because of the region that it came from. I don't know if in the history from me studying, I ever heard of anybody growing no marijuana in no
I know.
fields at that time. Coming from China.
Problem is law. The only problem is I agree only to the extent that it sounds reasonable, but the problem is they tested the daggone stuff. And they didn't find no dog food. What they found was dog smoke. That's what they found, dog smoke, dung, and weed.
And how did
Which is to be exact, CBD, THC, and MH to be exact is what they found. It tells you it tells you in the study.
What is Mr.Morpheus?
Uh, what is it again, Reg? It's right there in the study.
Okay, I'm coming back to it. Right. So, what do you want to know, sir?
I know CBD, but what is the last thing that he did?
THC and what is it? Here it goes right here. What they found was residues of cannabinoids, such as this THC, right, which is CBD, THC, and cannabinoid, CBD, and and this version of cannabinoid, I don't know my drugs, cannabidiol, and cannabino. So these are different molecules.
okay.
So that is what they found in the concoction, right? And they found it as a black as a resin, right? And yeah, and so there was remnants of frankincense on another altar, right? So this is what they found. Now, the other part of it is, um, the other part of it, what I wanted to, what I am, I'm gonna beat this like a dead horse. Biblical references. So now we know what they called them. Kanea Basim, translated as calamus, that appears hidden in Exodus, an ingredient in the holy anointing oil, right? Right? In fact, it's a liquid cannabis. So what they were anointing themselves with was drugs. You see this canal blossom? When you make this an anointment, you it's cannabis, right?
Okay. Okay, Reg. I don't mean to break your train of thought, so that way you can expedite a little more. The cannabinoids, the oils, and things of that nature, and they said it was a dark Tory
Yes,
substance. The dark Tory substance is basically this. After residue, after the resin sits in to the plant itself, marijuana and things
yes.
of that nature, it then in turn turns into what we would define now as calling hash.
Okay, we got some science here, right? Uh that hash was what they were getting high on. See, I don't care about the details as much as the fact of the matter it has THC in it, right? That's what I care about. I care about that how if it's hash or anything else, it's a hallucinogen, and they used it to get next to their God. That's what I care about. I'm not getting away from that they got high, high, high. Okay, so now I looked at the Cash App again, and I only got one donation. So that's the problem, family, and that's why we're gonna go on and beat this to death, right? Made man, what's this? Denise Wells says, "Man-made drugs, not Most High Elohim. Most High Elohim is high. He's the Most High." Denise, you got to be high to know the Most High.
Hey, Reg,
Yes.
Reg. Hey, hey,
Man-made drugs.
hold up. I
Marijuana is
got
a
something
plant.
very interesting. Reg, can you check your
Wait. No,
email?
it may be worth something for another show because we only got one donation of $10. And I'm not
Okay.
begging people, but what it is that you put all this money in the pulpit, you put all this money in these fake YouTube commentators, all these money in these channel holders' hands, and when people give you real research, right, that helps you understand, and I didn't even get into the history, I didn't get to none of that. I'm at the shallow mode of trying to say that they just got high. So, Morph, what you want to say?
Uh, I
Amen.
was I was trying to answer the brother's question. He left. Uh, Is the brother
Who?
still there?
Joey?
Uh, yeah, yeah. Is it
Yeah, I think he dropped off. I think he
okay?
dropped
Where was
off
the
a little
answer
bit.
to his question? But I sent it to Reg. I sent it to your email, Reg. So
Yeah.
but he
So
let he dropped.
they get
Yeah, we
that
can save it.
Born King, how man may make something grow. How can man make something that grows naturally? Man can harvest it, right?
Exactly.
And then man can
Exactly.
harvest it and use it for a particular purpose.
Yo, his
Born King,
question, Reg. The question answered itself. He said naturally. The
oh,
question answered itself.
Yes, basically. But he worded it perfectly. He worded it that
Exactly. It's
way
like,
for a
how can
reason.
he make it grow naturally? Nature.
The reason why he worded it that way, Reg, for the most part, is to counteract what that sister had just put up. I mean, this right here, Reg. Wow,
Because Red, I was talking about,
wow.
right? Remember I said what they found, right? I said it was THC, right?
mm-hmm.
And I said it was and I said it was CBD, right? and then I said MH, but actually I made a mistake. It's MAO. You call Mayo. You know what Mayo is?
No,
It gets worse. Mayo is associated with DMT, bro.
no.
I just sent it to you. Mayo is an inhibitor, a transmitter inhibitor in the brain that's associated with DMT. Now we just raised it up a bar.
Well, I got to add that into my list.
Yep, I sent it to you.
Now,
So
let me deal with eating the remix. So let me break it down. See, you mythological ninjas is comical. The astronomical, the astronomical, blah blah is coming, though like embalming you, my brother. What I'm basically trying to say, you got $5 I can hold. Okay. I need a little bit more clarification. I don't at this point I don't know if Eden is with me or against me, or which with Morpheus and myself and the others are against me. So who are the mythological, right? I agree that the ninjas are comical, right? The astronomical I don't know about, but coming to embalm you, uh, I don't understand that. What I'm basically trying to say is, I definitely want your $5. So I'm holding. So that part I want. Uh, so Morph, I think I'm gonna call it quits tonight. I mean,
okay.
I can't. I'm gonna put the cash out one more time. I can't believe it. So it's a lyric from Keith Murray. Oh, it's a joke. That's why I didn't say anything, Eden. I didn't make any judgment. I didn't make any judgment. I just need more clarification, right? Because most people come on this channel are my friends, right? And so I'm very cautious about, like Tall Guy Harold. That's my brother. Uh, I think that we just crossed paths on what we're saying. I'm not saying this as entertainment. I'm saying that these people in their early religions was getting high, 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 right? So for the Messiah, what she say? Denise Wells, Messiah, they used myrrh and frankincense. Yes, but they left out the cannabis. See, that's the problem, because what I just read was, okay, first of all, you got to know the names. So mandrake is a plant with hallucinogenic properties. It's mentioned in Genesis as a fertility aid, hinting at its ritual significance. So mandrake is a get high product, and it's mentioned in Genesis. So that was what garden and frankincense. Uh, its its presence alongside cannabis at Tel Arah confirms the biblical count of its ritual use. So we know frankincense was there, but what happens is people come later and they want to hide what was done in the earlier parts, and they want to cleanse it. So I have a part after we come back and redo this again, right? I'm not leaving Christianity alone, because Christianity was influenced by the Greeks, and they got high. Right now, I'm just doing the early. Oh no, Eden, I know you're not against. I know you're not. That's why I was just cool when I was talking about you. I know the people that the people that don't want to hear this, they ain't on this. They ain't on the show, because they're selling our people something else, right? Now, what does this stuff enable? Induce an eternal sense of spiritual presence, meaning you're high and you start seeing people. I see ghosts, right? Meaning it's a sense that something else is there because I'm high. I provide access to a spiritual world, bringing mythical beliefs into direct experience. I can't choose between what's real and not real. Enable visions of ego and death and perceived transformations or rebirth. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly.
Brother
Don't let
Reggie.
me. Yes.
Brother Reggie.
Yo, listen. My early days in Castle Hill, when people were smoking dust, there was a lot of people who had stood up on the roof. I'm not gonna fall. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. And guess what? They jumped off that damn roof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dust is a dust is something else. You can't stop somebody that's on dust, boy, right? You can't change their mind, right? They will knife
And
you.
you,
Huh? Say what?
and you just gotta feed them some milk. That's all. Feed them milk.
No. You gotta hold them down to feed them milk. You
I,
gotta feed them.
I I always wanted to know what was the chemical in milk, right? That worked against dust. I
Maybe
always wanted to know that.
maybe calcium. I don't know. Maybe calcium. Maybe calcium in milk, right? Stop the dust effects. But anyway, after you drunk the milk, you wasn't feeling good at all, right? You was feeling bad, right? So that means it brought down your high, and like it attacked your high, right? Um, so, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, uh, here go Joey again, and then I'll let him get it out. I spent 3-4 hours on this show to try to pay my guest Morpheus for helping me with my research, and I only got $10, and I haven't checked PayPal. It's just not fair, and it's really aggravating that y'all go for entertainment. Y'all want to get high. Y'all like that. Y'all like to get high on other people's bravado, fake scholarship, right? Y'all like that. And it bothers me because then when you attack real information with bad, how can I say, arguments?
No, it's not that. It's not that at all, Reggie. You have to understand that when you're in the Coliseum, you got to do what folks do in the Coliseum.
Oh, I want to thank D DeBurgo. Uh, he paid for the show. Um, and I want to thank RL. So I want to thank you both. Thank you so much. Because if I want a guest on like Morpheus, and he gives me, I'm not taking it for myself. I'm paying my guests. I'm on shows, and I hardly ever get paid. I contributed 6-7 years. The only people who support me largely was the audience, but I'm not there anymore. Good luck to those people. I'm not there anymore. I don't care about them. You won't see me on there. But so I'm on my own show, and I try to give you great content. I'm asking you the question: when these great occurrences that was happening, was these people high? Everything that I said, everything that's here, Reg did not write this. Reg wrote did research and put it in the paper, and then Reg had it cited, right? So you can say whatever you want about me, right? I dare you to go write a paper against some of these sources. I dare you, right? My work is well organized. It always is. I don't do picture PowerPoints, right? I give you actual sources, right? And here goes my sources. So let's go down. You be my sources.
This is a headshot.
Oh man, this is definitely a headshot.
I have apologetic claims, right? Orchestrated
This is
under
a
my
headshot for real, Morpheus.
authenticity,
Wow.
Yeah,
right?
your law. When I in my research, I came across this, and I brought it to Reg. I said, Reg, we got something we got to talk about. He said, what are you talking about? Then I showed him. We both went like, oh boy, oh really?
And the crazy part in all of this is these are cordial conversations that we have on the telephone,
Exactly,
but now it's just coming to the forefront.
exactly. Exactly. But Reg,
And some people, the crazy thing about it, Morpheus, is a lot of people will never understand that this is somewhat of the reason why when you go on some of these channels and you hear some of these people talk, everything that comes out of their mouths, in the sense that you can sit back and listen and be still and be quiet, it comes across as being deplorable
hmm
and always perplexed.
let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at your screen. I want you to see how Reggie beautifully put all the sources together for you, right? He put it all the sources together for you. You can go back, you can rewind the show, you can look at all the sources. He beautifully put everything together for you for $10. Come on, y'all. Seriously?
Hey, look at it.
I'm
Pattern of
just, I mean,
cannabis
it,
use in
it,
Israelite
it's
worship, right? Ancient Israelites used cannabis as part of their religious ceremonies. Uh, Israeli archaeologists dig up proof of ancient cannabis use, right? The BBC, right? That article doesn't say what the title is. Daily marijuana found in ancient temple of Egypt. So let's go to Google. Let's go to Google so I can just show you. Let me just stop this sharing. Let me just sorry. Don't get okay. So where am I? So many people get confused. Uh, maybe I don't articulate like you want to, like a preacher, like you want to hear. That's okay. Let me see if I can stop sharing. We'll stop sharing, and let's see if I can. I'm not your preacher. That's my so-called curse and blessing, if I want to use it biblically, right? Um, Cannabis use. That's not my journey, right? To to fool you. So I have to do it in writing. I write better than I talk. So let's see if I can find where is this thing with Miss Midori Brown? Not now. Give me a second, family. Give me a second. Okay. Mine is nine. Come on. I think that's Joey. Joey, you're talking about my mic. Wait, which noise is that? Let's get that. I can't even tell whose mic that is. Can everybody mute their mic? Can everybody mute their mic? Because I can't find out who's not Morpheus. Thank you. Okay, great. I was gonna find out who. So let's see if I can pull this. If I can share my screen. And so uh, let's see if I can share my screen. So cannabis use in Israel. So let's see. Allow. Uh, okay. Can y'all see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, great.
yeah,
So
yeah, we can see
first,
it. We
all
can
you
see
have to
it.
do, the differences between me is that I had to source it for you, but you can go to Wikipedia. No, not that one. That is people smoking. I'm gonna say I have to say cannabis use in ancient Israel. right? And I have to say tell a rod because I have to know the technical terms, right? So you can start your work right here. Recent archaeological discoveries at Tel Rod, an ancient Egyptian site in the Negev desert, have revealed evidence of cannabis use in religious rituals during the 8th century, right? This is early early Israel. The use of psychoactive materials is also well known in the ancient Near Eastern and Aegean cultures, which we'll get to the Greeks, right? Where the Christian Bible is, right? So it says that it seems likely that cannabis was used at Arad as a deliberate psychoactive to stimulate ecstasy as part of cultic ceremonies. So you're getting high and you're enjoying it, right? Cannabis and frankincense at the Judahite shrine of Arad. Cannabis burned during worship by ancient Israelites. Smithsonian, archaeologists identified traces of burnt cannabis, blah, 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 right? First high, ancient Israelites at biblical shrine used cannabis, the times of Israel. The first high. So let's see why they call it the first high. We're saying the most high. They're saying the first high. Did my screen change?
Wow, man. This
First
is
high.
wow.
Ancient Israelites at biblical shrine used cannabis to spark ecstasy. This is the times of Israel. So they're not same picture, different story, right? Same picture. Same pictures, different story, right? There goes right there, right? Am I frozen? Can you hear me? So, what? The use of
The
dung,
first
which
high.
burns at a relatively low temperature, also indicates that the organizers knew. So, if you had to use shit to burn it, if you could have used something else than shit, you probably would have. But a shit, right? So, a shout out to ISUPK, shout out to IUIC, right? Shout out to all of them, right? Right? Like Judah Nazareth. He would know, but he won't say, right? Oh, what is this? The researchers said that the fire opens up a window in the religious practice of the First Temple era and suggested that cannabis could have played a role in the temple in Jerusalem, noting that the arid fortress was a scaled down version of the biblical description of King Solomon's temple. Right? Today, the El Aqsa Mosque and Dome of the Rock stand on the Temple Mount, limiting archaeologists' access. So, because of the El Aqsa Mosque, we can't see what's below it. But if we found what's below it, it's probably ritual use of cannabis, right? So let's see what else. There goes right there. That's where it all went down. They got it from the plug and they lit it up, right? So the issue is, let's go back over to Midori and see if who came into the site. Mr. Morpheus. There goes Mr. Morpheus. Morpheus, you back? Hello? Morpheus, can you hear me? Okay, so family, I'm going to check my Cash App again.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. So I do want to thank, I definitely want to thank the two Cash Apps that I got to help me pay for my guests, right? Hey Denise, what you talking about? Denise says the Most High would not accept their sacrificing of idols too. And the ancestors were worshiping other gods too. So Denise Wells is not saying anything that I disagree with. But my job, Morpheus' job as researchers, is to let you know some things about your belief system that you should know instead of listening to these GED He's if they got their GEDs, right? High schoolers, if they got it, because most of them have the highest level of education, but they're experts in the Bible, but they don't have any extra advanced degrees, right? But they got beards, they got afros, they got braids, they got muscles, they got voices, right? And some of them got good jobs. But that doesn't mean
You said they got braids, they got muscles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'ma
But that
just say,
doesn't mean
I'ma
yes.
just say this to you, brother Reggie. Then are you doing a follow-up show in regards to this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'm
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 gonna
I'm
drive into
just
the
letting
bills.
I'm just letting you know now. This show here within itself made you enemy number one. You are the stake in the forest surrounded by wolves. I'm just letting you know right now. They coming.
They always came for me.
They
What
coming,
has
Reggie.
changed? I debated the Moors. I've been one of the first people out there. Well, Shaka was out there before me, but wait, y'all got it twisted. What happens on 125th Street, right? Y'all got it twisted. There are people like Shaka. There's people like myself, right? Uh, it was us against everybody. I had to stand on my 10 toes. It wasn't the content provider. The content provider was learning. He wasn't no expert. He ain't no expert.
I'm
I read
just
5 things
based
into Sternberg. I got an honest degree in Black Studies. Like I wasn't. Look, I did more with my life, right? So
from
wow, I hear you. But Morpheus was there when I debated the Moors. Was it nice, Morpheus?
Whoa, boy. The tension, you can cut it with a knife.
Huh?
It could have been very dangerous.
I'm
Right,
just
but I did it with information. I don't have to embarrass people. But if you got a goddamn GED and you're arguing with me, please don't do it. And you
Reggie,
had to have good. Oh, say what?
I'm just speaking in regards for the presentation that you just briefly put forth and the amount of different sources that you had tagged.
We got more. I
It's
did research.
overwhelming evidence, brother.
They got high. Here's
This
the
is a
technical term.
headshot. This is a
Ethiopian.
headshot beyond a headshot.
They got high, so we can't believe them.
This is
It was
not
a
this
Hmm.
is not even a
testing. Look.
Morpheus.
Dr.
This is a
Yeah.
Eri,
12 gauge, not even a handgun, man.
Dr. Eri, Dr. Eri. She's one of the people that do the research. The new evidence from Arad shows for the first time that the official cult of Judah, at least during the 8th century BC, involved hallucinogenic ingredients. This was not fringe practice, but a state sanctioned ritual.
Can't get around that.
Watch this. This realization compels scholars to reevaluate the origins of Israelite religion, recognizing that its foundational beliefs and narratives may be better understood as products of ritualized, chemically facilitated
Oh,
encounter with the divine rather than a literal historical event.
oh, that hurt.
Huh?
Oh, that hurt.
I don't want to even give you more, right? Like their own scholars are saying this. But you know what? We have uh oh we oh I wasn't sharing that screen. So let me go share the screen. Sorry, stop sharing the screen, stop sharing, share that screen. Okay. So let me let you see it in the flesh. Share screen. Right? Let's open up the window. Early let me see. Morpheus. Word. Here goes right here. Allow. Let's read, family. The new evidence from Arad shows for the first time that the first time, this is 2025, they don't know that the official cult of Judah, at least during the 8th century BC, involved hallucinogenic ingredients. This was not a fringe practice, but a state sanctioned ritual.
Ouch.
Right? Okay, let's read this.
Damn.
Counter arguments based on a biblical silence, presumed prohibition of
A biblical silence.
right, or claims of
Wow.
isolated practice do not withstand scrutiny in light of the material record and the comparative religious evidence. The realization compels scholars to reevaluate the origin of Israelite religion, recognizing that its foundational beliefs and narratives may be better understood as products of ritualized chemical facilitated encounters with the divine rather than a literal historical experience. Yo, it's kimmed up,
Wow, man.
right? Right?
Wow.
Yo, it's kimmed up. And now I got to go back and do more sources, right? Because it's not me. I'm just don't shoot the messenger. Shoot the goddamn liar. Shoot the
Right.
dude that's high, right?
Right. Right.
The ones with the
Shoot the one. Shoot the one that sold you the pie in the sky. Shoot
exactly.
him. Don't shoot me.
And ask for refunds. Ask for refunds or stop paying for bad information. What's it? My man Christoph, what are you talking about? What do you say? Living the high life.
This is
What's that? Yeah, with living the high life with the most high. Because he was the first high.
The first high
I
made
didn't say
him the
that
most high.
huh? Say what?
It made him the most high.
Yeah, the most high.
You know what that means? The most high, that means he's higher than everybody else.
But they thought it was measurement. They didn't know it was
Intoxicant.
intoxicant, right? And they give you the ingredients, right? Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll put my cash app in one more time. I'm not begging. I'm trying to save your life. I'm trying to do something before your son and your daughter come home from school and say, "Mommy and Daddy, why didn't you tell me that they was getting high?" Right? But Mommy and Daddy, your biblical people, they were getting high. How come you never told me that? So you can't tell me not to get high because God, the Most High, got high. He gave it to his people to get high so he could talk to them. Mommy and Daddy, if I smoke this weed, I could talk to God.
Reggie, you gotta be a little humble, man. Don't do him like that, man. Yeah, Reggie. Dang, Reg.
No, you know what? I'm taking the pain for our people. For all of the lies in the last 8 years of these people not telling our people that the Most High, to talk to the Most High, you need to be high. To shove this down our throat for all the money that they made, for all the promotion, and nobody told that these early Hebrews, right? And listen, I can respect it. That's the problem. I can understand and respect it, and I don't look down on them for being high, to have these experiences, these cognitive and neural experiences. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with the damn converts not being honest with our people. That's what I have a problem with. Lying to our people and not telling them the truth. So listen, I got enough counterclaims to stand off any scrutiny. I have the experts, and I have the
We're
fact that
going. We're going to do part two. Uh, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is when we want to do what you want to do at Friday.
Uh, I don't know. You people, you you let me know. How can they let me know? Uh, it would be either tomorrow or it'd be Friday. Maybe Friday, Morph, if you're good, right? If
Yeah,
you're good. And you know, for some reason, and listen, I mean, I'm
because
not.
people don't realize this is not the whole pie. We got a whole bunch more to give y'all.
Oh, oh,
That's
wait
and
till I
that
get.
and that's the scary part, man.
Oh, wait till I get to
That's
Jesus.
that's the scary part.
Wait until I get to wait until I get to the Jesus period. I mean, come on, don't you people? Isn't there a problem with Mary, who is the mother of Jesus, right? She don't know who the baby daddy is. She say she a ghost came in, right? Holy Ghost. So who's the father, God or the Holy Ghost? Oh, y'all not stupid. Who's the
Mm-mm-mm.
father? Huh? The Holy Ghost or God?
I can't believe grown people believe these stories,
So you
man.
gonna
I
tell me
mean,
that God used another vehicle to make his son in 2025? God sent another man, another angel, to whisper. I mean, y'all believe that in 2025? I respect your faith. I just don't. I don't care about that. My problem is the people who actually push this down our throat. It's personal belief. You can believe it personally. I don't have a problem. But if you're going to be an apologetic like Vocab Malone and you're going to make him your hero and you people are going to follow secretly Vocab Malone, right? Something's wrong with y'all. You know what? I recommend getting high for you guys. I recommend it.
It's something else, man. Reggie, you something else, man.
No, and then you want to run around, and then they want to run around, and they want to go to a channel that's going to tell you the truth, right? I'm the channel person. I have my guests. My all the people that I ever use are people that can authenticate their sources. Not lie to people, create fantasies. No, right? But you like entertainment. You don't like entertainment, and I don't blame. And listen, if you like entertainment, that's fine, right? But just but I blame the people that's lying to you. So with that said, turn on my music and find some music, and I'll see y'all all in a little while. I'll see my chill music. Yeah. Uh, so I want to thank everybody for watching another experience with Brother Reggie and Mr. Morpheus with our special guests, Brother La and Joey and Wish Tall God Heru would have came on. I want to thank those that were able to contribute and uh, support the show. Listen, I so appreciate it. You're doing it for the people, right? And the money's not going to me. It's going to my guests. And Mr. Morpheus has a very special mind in that he sees things that are not written. He asks these crazy questions. I mean, he buzzes me late at night. Yo, Reg, check your text. They talk like in the morning. Yo, check your. Yo, what you think about? So we have a show coming up on. What's this other show that we want to do before this?
Oh, we got a couple of them. Shoot,
Yeah.
we got a couple of great subject matters.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the resurrection. Ladies and
Ooh,
gentlemen, Morpheus and Brother Reggie is gonna talk about the resurrection. Morpheus, can I ask you a question?
yeah.
Was Jesus the first to be resurrected?
Of course not.
Didn't he resurrect some people? I mean, resurrection was going on like hotcakes. So the person that he resurrected, wasn't he earlier than Christ? Well, how come we don't follow him?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Christ resurrected somebody in the story. Y'all know the story. I can pull it out. How come we don't worship him? What happened? Jesus resurrected him and then he later died?
Yeah, right?
Say what?
Exactly.
Maybe, ladies and gentlemen, maybe you need to smoke something to understand what I'm saying. Before Jesus was resurrected, somebody else was resurrected. Jesus didn't resurrect him, God resurrected him. So God resurrected Jesus. Jesus didn't resurrect himself. Am I right, Morpheus?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So the guy that Jesus was supposed to resurrect, God resurrected somebody else before Jesus. Just gave Jesus the credit. Am I wrong?
Yep.
Oh, we got more to talk about the resurrection. But if y'all believe that stuff, and then what happened to the person who was resurrected? He died? So he was resurrected, and then he died again. Man,
Incredible.
Maybe he had a near-death experience. Maybe they all had near-death experiences. Hey, Morpheus, question. Did Paul resurrect people too? You still with me, Morph? I don't know where Morph went. I'm gonna ask him one more time. Morph, you still here? Well, ladies and gentlemen, after God resurrected Jesus according to the story, do you know that Paul was able to resurrect?
Hold up, Reg. What about all the saints who came out the graves in the book of Matthew that went running through the town? So all the saints got out their graves, and so they went running through the town. The zombies. What about those?
Wait, hold up. They was resurrected before Jesus, right?
No, those happened supposedly after when Jesus got crucified. Then, according to the book of Matthew,
Right.
Then the graves opened, and those who came out the graves went running through the town.
So, ladies and gentlemen, do you see some problems? Jesus wasn't the first to be resurrected, right? Because Jesus was supposed to resurrect, but it wasn't Jesus that was resurrected. It was God was supposed to be, because everything is supposed to be God, right? Nevertheless, how come that person's not famous? Then after Jesus dies, and then God supposedly resurrects him, right? Okay. Then all of the people start running out of the graves. They was resurrected too. Where are those people? They don't have stories and families. Somebody was really high, right? So we got that. We're gonna talk about resurrection, right? We're not even gonna talk about all the Greeks and all those groups of people, the sons of God. I mean, don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you that it don't add up. Somebody was high. See, highness is a major part of of these stories. Now, Morpheus goes on the other show. He deals with Derek and Justin and all these other people. Guess what? Those audiences were more scholarly than our audience. Our audience is largely held down by people not capable of verifying anything. But people like Garfield can. People like Ankh asks us the real good questions. Great questions. So, Brother Reggie and Morpheus, this is our, I don't know, third or fourth show together. I mean, we bring you the business. Y'all don't bring us to support. But I can tell you one thing, Morpheus. The problem is they steal our ideas and don't give us credit.
Right.
Because you know what? They're listening to us when they're high. They forget whose information it was. So we're asking our audience people, come on, man. I mean, we're not trying to entertain you. I mean, we got some moments, like the Most High is the Most High. The Most High is the Most High, y'all. The Most High stays high.
The Most High and the High Priest.
Yeah. You got to be high. And I'm not talking about measurement to deal with the Most High. Because that's the only way that you can come up with a story like the sea opening up. And that's the only way you can lie to the people and tell and not telling people that Yahweh was first in Saudi Arabia. That's where Jethro was.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't like that? That your God wasn't in Levant? But you didn't like Canaan anyway. Because Canaan was cursed. So you like Saudi Arabia better? Morph, what are we going to do with these people?
I don't know, bro. But I tell you what, man, we'll jump back on either tomorrow or Friday, and we'll see what it do.
Oh yeah, so I can unpack the rest of this information. But what I am doing is, you people watching those other channels, you know, except for Garfield. Garfield's really good at what he does, right? I appreciate Garfield's channel and Unks and Smash's channel and Candy Versus channel. Even Joey got a good channel. Got all those other videos on all those channels, and yo, take them and throw them in the garbage. Throw them in the garbage. Because all we gotta do is say that they never told you that these people's early tradition was based on THC, hallucinogenic drugs. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for viewing. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm just trying to get you closer to the truth, right? That's what Morpheus does. He tries to get you closer to the truth, right? So then you're not living a lie. So with that said, thanks for watching. Sorry about my the way I speak and articulate, but look at my evidence. Don't worry about what I say. All right. So I want to say good night to everybody, and thank you so much. So let's end this show.
All right, family. Peace and good night. Until next time.
There you go.